GM is struggling to sell their cars, and now all that is left is to lower prices. They're practically giving out cars for pennies, but is it worth it? After all, why spend even a dime if the deal is useless? And that is the thing right here. These discounts are just a front for a whole shebang, and trust me, the devil is in the details, so let's talk about it. What is exactly happening? Imagine starting with a grand entrance full of buzz and excitement, only to hit some serious bumps along the way. That's pretty much been GM's journey into the world of electric cars, but nothing short of a roller coaster ride. So what's been going wrong? Well, sales are going down, but this is not a cause when you really think about it. This is a result of something deeper, and to be honest, they have been struggling to find the right formula. One major issue with GM's strategy is their laser focus on high-end premium EVs instead of making electric cars accessible for the everyday driver. They aimed for the high-end and missed out on the broader market, and now they're giving discounts on these cars. But just like their previous plan, this too has a bitter ending. Especially for you. So let me break it down for you from the top. The origin of the mishaps. It all started with a Chevy Bolt. The Bolt was GM's budget-friendly option, a model designed to be more accessible and attract the everyday driver. But when GM decided to pull the plug on the Bolt without a solid follow-up, they left a gaping hole in their lineup. It was like removing the only affordable item from that store and leaving customers with nothing but luxury items. The Bolt's exit was a major misstep, and GM has yet to fill that void. This wasn't just any old model getting the axe, it was GM's top seller in the EV arena. And its departure was nothing short of dramatic. Despite the Bolt's tech feeling a bit long in the tooth, it held a mighty presence in the market. In 2023, it wasn't just a player, it was the MVP, making up a whopping 81% of GM's EV sales. And now with the Bolt out of the picture, there is a noticeable void. The new Ultium-based models have yet to step up and fill those big shoes. The Bolt was more than just a budget-friendly option, it was a key player that helped GM capture a huge slice of the EV market. So the question now is, can the new Ultium tech live up to the Bolt's legacy, or is GM facing a long road ahead to find its next big hit? Let's talk about it. The so-called savior. GM really went all in on their new Ultium battery technology, but it turns out that is not feasible or practical. First up, we've got production bottlenecks. Delays are popping up left and right thanks to issues with their automation equipment supplier. This has seriously throttled the capacity to assemble these crucial battery modules, putting the brakes on Ultium-based EV production for 2023. It's like having the coolest, most advanced EV on the block, but no way to actually get it out the door. But that was not all, you see. GM's Ultium launch wasn't exactly smooth sailing, and a big part of that is due to a major talent drain. A wave of retirements, buyouts, and headhunters snatching up GM's top battery engineers has left the company scrambling. It's like losing your star players right before the championship game, and to make matters worse, GM is wrestling with software glitches on the Ultium platform. All of these unexpected issues have hit GM's EV sales like a ton of bricks. In the first half of 2023, sales figures for some of GM's flagship electric models like the Cadillac Lyriq, Crossover, and the GMC Hummer EV were nothing short of disappointing. But that's not all. The slow pace of Ultium battery production isn't just causing trouble now, it's also casting a shadow over GM's future plans. The sluggish progress raises serious concerns about potential delays in the rollout of GM's entire planned EV lineup. We're talking about the Chevrolet Blazer EV and Equinox EV among others. But some say it is only a matter of time until GM manages to turn things around and get their EV game back on track. But to be honest, it doesn't seem like it is working out for them. But don't just take my word for it, let's talk numbers and expectations in GM's electrifying journey. Numbers don't lie. At first, GM had some pretty lofty goals for 2024. They were shooting for the stars with plans to roll out between 250,000 and 300,000 EVs. Sounds ambitious, right? Well, that was all it amounted to. Ambition. Since then, GM has dialed back on its production forecast. Instead of the grand 250,000 to 300,000 units, they're now aiming for a more modest 200,000 to 250,000 EVs. What's behind this recalibration? It's all about demand, or rather, the gap between what GM hoped for and what's actually happening. However, in reality, the demand for EVs is growing faster than ever. It's just GM's demand that is dwindling. We all know that while Tesla and Ford have been raking in the rewards by offering a range of price points to cater to different budgets, GM was fixated on the Cadillac Lyric and the GMC Hummer EV, aiming for the upper echelon of the market. GMC's EV strategy has been a bit like trying to find the perfect recipe and constantly missing the mark, and nothing has changed now. So where does that leave GM? Well, watch carefully. The aftermath. This reality check has come with some hard decisions, including the recent move to lay off nearly 1,000 workers at their Orion assembly plant, where they whip up the electric Chevy Silverado. This isn't just a simple cost-cutting move, it's part of a larger strategy shift. GMC's decision to trim the workforce at Orion Assembly until late 2025 is a clear signal of the scale of the issue they're facing. This isn't just about numbers on a balance sheet, it's a strategic pivot to navigate the choppy waters of the EV market. But despite these challenges, GM isn't hitting the brakes on their electric dreams. The Chevy Silverado remains a cornerstone of their strategy, and its production is crucial for keeping them in the game. The temporary shutdown of some plant operations and the workforce reductions are all part of GM's plan to hit the reset button. They're aiming to use this downtime to refine their engineering processes, boost production techniques, and integrate the latest technology to better align with what consumers are looking for. But there are some things that can be solved in-house. Let me explain. Outside factors. Have you ever wondered why GM's dealers' lots seem to be overflowing? In March 2024, GM's dealer inventory skyrocketed to a whopping 534,479 units. That's a jaw-dropping 29.6% increase from the previous year. This hefty inventory boost is a glaring sign that cars aren't flying off the lot as fast as they're being cranked out and shipped to dealerships. But you see, this isn't just about demand. So why are some GM dealerships dragging their feet when it comes to selling electric vehicles? It turns out that a number of GM dealers are reportedly less than thrilled about pushing EVs. This reluctance is not just a small hiccup, it's making a big impact on GM's EV sales, which are plummeting. But who can blame them? Have you ever heard about the software fiasco plaguing GM's new models? Even GM had to slam the brakes on selling hot new rides like the Chevrolet Blazer EV, Colorado, and GMC Canyon. Why? It's all because of pesky software glitches and quality issues. Dealerships are left with shiny, unsellable cars, and customers are left hanging. So, high dealer inventory levels combined with a reluctance to push EVs are creating a perfect storm of sluggish sales. GM is left grappling with the challenge of getting their cars out of the lots and into the hands of eager drivers. It's a classic case of having the goods, but struggling to get them to the market effectively. But this is just half of the story. Let me tell you about another factor that has been causing a lot of mess. Price wars. Tesla is seriously shaking things up with price cuts, and these are huge cuts. Now, the base Model 3 is priced at just $38,990, and the Model Y starts at $43,990. When you toss in the $7,500 federal EV tax credit, these Teslas are even more of a steal. Imagine snagging a new Model 3 for less than $30,000. Elon Musk, the mastermind behind Tesla, isn't focused on short-term profits. GM, on the other hand, is taking a different route. Analysts are pointing out that this EV price war is all about grabbing market share. With Tesla's aggressive pricing, other car makers, including GM, are under serious pressure to stay in the game. If GM doesn't adjust its prices, it might lose customers to more affordable options from Tesla and even Ford, which has also cut prices on its Mustang Mach-E to keep up. All this time, GM's decision to hold its ground in pricing is all about protecting profitability. But as this price competition heats up, GM needs to reconsider. Analysts warn that sticking to their guns while rivals drop prices could lead to lost sales and a shrinking market share, which could hurt GM's long-term profits. And this is one of the reasons GM is now giving out discounts. For the buyers, this price war is fantastic news. Lower prices mean EVs are more affordable and accessible, which could speed up the shift to electric vehicles. But you should not be fooled into thinking that these deals are perfect. They're far from it, and it all starts with the initiators of this price war, the Tesla effect. Right now, almost every company is following in their footsteps. You see, GM, like many other major automakers, is embedding sophisticated software in their vehicles to create a new revenue stream and secure a competitive edge in the market. Ever wondered how GM is stepping up their electric vehicle game? They're not just building cars, they're creating an experience. Picture this. GM is weaving advanced software right into the fabric of their EVs, turning them into high-tech marvels. This isn't just about getting from point A to point B, it's about making every trip smarter, safer, and a whole lot more fun. GM is integrating advanced software into their electric vehicles to offer advanced and enhanced functionality and a superior customer experience. This includes features like advanced driver assistance systems, over-the-air updates, and in-car entertainment. Here's the genius part. All these software-driven enhancements do more than just improve your driving experience. They open up new ways for GM to make money. Think of it as the Netflix model, but for cars. GM can offer subscription services for premium features, and want that cutting-edge navigation system? There's a package for that. How about an advanced safety suite? Another package. This not only keeps your car up to date, but also ensures GM has a steady revenue stream. Customers can opt for these premium software packages, which provide additional features and capabilities. This could range from enhanced security features to personalized driving modes that tailor your car's performance to your preferences. By offering these options, GM ensures that their vehicles remain flexible and customizable long after they've rolled off the assembly line. So, what does this all mean for you, the driver? It means you get a vehicle that's constantly evolving, always improving and tailored to your needs. But there's also a dark side to it. Let me explain. Maintenance and repair services. Ever thought about what makes car maintenance such a big deal these days? It's all about the tech under the hood. One of the biggest game changers is the proprietary software that automakers like GM are embedding into their vehicles. So what does this mean for your average Joe trying to get their car fixed? Well, GM has made it so that most of their repair and maintenance work funnels right through their authorized dealerships. That is why these days, independent mechanics often find themselves in a bit of a pickle. They need access to expensive diagnostic tools and manufacturer-specific software to service these vehicles. It's like needing a special key to unlock a treasure chest, and GM holds the only key. And it is a bad thing, especially if you are an independent mechanic. Imagine that you've been fixing cars for years, but suddenly, the game changes. You now need to invest in costly tools and software just to stay in the game. It's not a wrench and some elbow grease anymore. This creates a major hurdle for those trying to break into the repair market for these high-tech vehicles. And on the other hand, this strategy is pure genius for GM. By keeping the repair work within their network, they ensure that a substantial chunk of the after-sales service revenue stays right where they want it. It's like having a built-in cash cow. Every time a customer needs a repair or even just routine maintenance, they're likely to head back to the dealership. This constant flow of service revenue boosts GM's overall profitability. It's a smart move from a business perspective, but what about the customers? For you and me, this can be a bit of a double-edged sword. On one hand, you know that taking your car to the dealership means it's being serviced by folks who have all the right tools and knowledge. But on the other hand, it means you're pretty much tied to those dealerships for even the simplest of fixes. Need an oil change or a software update? Off to the dealership you go. This dependence can be a bit frustrating, especially if you're used to having more options. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. These new cars have some more tricks up their sleeves. Data and privacy. These vehicles are like rolling data machines, constantly churning out heaps of information. We're talking about everything from how the engine's performing to how you drive and even how often you're hitting the brakes. Imagine driving around in a car that's not just taking you from point A to point B, but also learning all about your driving habits. It's like having a little data nerd ride a shotgun, noting down every quirk and preference. This data includes detailed statistics on vehicle performance. Think fuel efficiency, engine health, and more. It's also recording your driving behavior. Are you a speed demon or a cautious cruiser? And it doesn't stop there. It's tracking usage patterns too. How often do you drive? When do you take your car out? This constant flow of data is like a continuous health check for your vehicle and a detailed diary of your driving life. Now, GM isn't just sitting on this mountain of data, they're using it to make their cars even better and to offer top-notch customer service. Using these, your car can predict when something's about to go wrong before you even notice a problem. It's like having a crystal ball for car maintenance. This is called predictive maintenance, and it's a game changer. By analyzing the data, GM can spot potential issues early, meaning you can get them fixed before they become serious and expensive problems. No more surprise breakdowns, your car's got your back. But why am I telling you this? Well, it all boils down to one thing: money. GM's smart use of data isn't just about keeping you happy and your car running smoothly, it's also a brilliant business move. By offering predictive maintenance and other data-driven services, GM creates new revenue streams. Customers might be willing to pay for premium services that offer enhanced features and peace of mind. But have you ever stopped to think about the darker side of all the data your car is collecting? Sure, it's impressive that your vehicle can track everything from your driving habits to its own performance, but this treasure trove of information comes with its own set of risks. What happens if your car's data falls into the wrong hands? It's not just about the potential for some creepy stalker tracking your every move, though that's definitely a concern. Think bigger, we're talking about unauthorized tracking that could lead to serious privacy breaches or even full-blown identity theft. It's like having a secret diary that's not just read but exploited by people who shouldn't be anywhere near it. Okay, so maybe you're thinking, that sounds extreme. Fair enough, but there are more everyday risks that can hit closer to home. Imagine your insurance company gets wind of your driving habits through this data, and suddenly your rates go through the roof. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because your data painted a picture they didn't like. Or worse, imagine your data ends up in the hands of unscrupulous third-party companies that mishandle or misuse it. It's like your personal information is up for grabs by anyone with a questionable agenda. That's something I'll never sign up for, but what about you? Let's know in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you on the next video.